know, there's one of me and about 20 of you, but I can hear me. So, little louder, okay? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay. So, good evening to everyone. I'm Swami Saradananda, the person you're expecting to see here. And I've been teaching yoga for, it's over 40 years. And sometimes when I say that, I hear people thinking, oh, I wasn't born then. But anyway, so now I worked with the Shivananda Yoga Centers for many years. I left there about maybe 17 years ago, and since then I teach mainly workshops and teachers trainings and advanced courses, and I write books. So my book, The Power of Breath, it's in its third edition, which is why the Watkins organized this talk tonight. And if you have one with a different cover, the main difference is the cover. So don't worry about it. They made it match my other book, which is Mudras for Modern Life. So, and also I've done a couple books on chakras. So, all published by Watkins. So tonight we're talking about the power of breath. So if we're talking about breath, everyone has one. You know where it is. Right? You wouldn't be here otherwise. Right? Okay, so let's just start. Everyone take a deep breath and then hold it. Hold it. Keep holding it. You still holding it? Honestly? Okay, you can let it go. Okay. So, your breath, you can say, is your most immediate need, right? If you held your breath for 3 minutes, I think you'd pass out, right? But we never think about that. You need to breathe, you need oxygen every minute of your life. Maybe you could miss 1 minute, but not more than that. But yet, no one thinks about it. You know, if you think, I've got to get myself together. You think, oh, I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to change my diet. Who thinks they have to breathe better? Right? Most people breathe with the top third of their lungs. That means that you're taking in a third of the amount of oxygen that you need to be healthy. Now, what if you were taking in a third of the amount of protein? You wouldn't die. I mean, not right away, but you wouldn't be very healthy. So we worry about protein, we worry about vitamin C, we worry about calcium, all these different things, but no one worries about oxygen. And yet we need it so badly, we need it every moment. You know, think what happens sometimes when you get stressed out. You know, you tense up, your breath becomes faster, right? You start breathing even higher than usual, which makes you tenser. You breathe faster until eventually you can't stand it anymore. What happens? Depends on your personality, I think. You don't pass out usually. Before that, you do something else. Either you start to cry, you start to shout, you start to laugh uncontrollably, or you light up a cigarette. Okay, I'm not suggesting any of these things. But this is how people deal with stress, right? Because when you get stressed out, you can't take a deep breath. And your body knows that you're not going to live more than 4 minutes unless you take enough, some oxygen. So it makes you take a breath. Now think what you're doing. When you cry, you go, ah! Or shout, ah! You're taking a deep breath. You see? So you lose control because you're not breathing properly. Everyone is trying to make life less stressful. Life isn't going to become less stressful. Actually, I think it's going to become more stressful. Because you can see things are getting faster and faster. So we have to make ourselves able to deal with stress. And if you don't breathe properly, you're making it difficult for yourself. Maybe even impossible. No one wants to start crying at work or, well, no one should light a cigarette either. But yet some people can't take a deep breath unless, this mudra? Mudras, gestures? So some people can't take a deep breath unless they're doing this mudra. Like that. Or actually, this is the relaxation mudra. You know this one? So people can't relax, can't deal with stress unless they're doing this. Okay? So if you can breathe properly, you can deal with the stress. Okay? Now, I just wanted to do a little, like a scientific investigate. This is a scientific test. Can you hear that in back? Okay. So I'm going to tap, and you're going to close your eyes and count. Okay? Sorry. That's better? Okay, start. Close your eyes. Okay, open your eyes. I know I got faster. I know I tapped erratically. Okay. Softer. What did you do? You tried to listen. Something else. Do you know this? You're not supposed to tell you. Yeah. So, did you hear what she said? Almost everyone, because I was watching it, almost everyone held their breath.
Yeah, thank you.
Why did you do that? Sorry? Yeah, but
there was
why?
so much tension to focus on the beats.
Yeah, whenever you're focused, isn't your breath slower? Not just you. Even you, if you ever watch a cat, and he's really focused on catching a bird, he barely breathes. The mind and the breath are very closely connected. The calmer your mind is, the slower your breath. If you came in here and I was breathing like this, you would say to me, what's wrong? Right? How do you know something's wrong? I mean, everyone knows it. Even a 2-year-old child comes in here, sees me breathing like that. She'll get very worried and come up to me and say, what's wrong? You see, mind and the breath are very closely connected. If we want to make the mind calm, and we want to be able to keep control of the mind, we can start by working with the breath. If we can make the breath slower and deeper, we can actually keep control of the mind. Right? Now, one problem nowadays, even, I don't know how many people do yoga. even if you do it for an hour a day, and then maybe not every day,
Once a week,
right?
an hour.
But even people who do it for an hour a day, you do it for an hour a day? No? You look like a yogi. Anyway, assuming someone did it for an hour a day and then they go to work and they do this for 6 hours, 8 hours, people are becoming more round-shouldered. And as you become more round-shouldered, there's no place for the ribs to expand. So one simple thing you can do is, right now, just come away from the back of your chair. Shake out your shoulders. And now let your shoulders relax. But bring your shoulder blades a little closer together and slide them down towards your waist. You see how your breastbone lifts up? And now you can breathe deeply. So maybe throughout the day, every once in a while, just remind yourself, shoulder blades down. Even if you're just walking on the street, you'll find you can walk better, you can walk faster. Anyway, now take one hand and put it on your bottom rib. And the other hand put next to your navel. Okay. Now imagine your lungs are like long skinny balloons. You know the kind you have at a children's party, and when you go to blow them up, it blows up just next to the mouth. You want it to blow up in the bottom first. So you're going to inhale and feel your abdomen expand. Ribs expand. And finally, the part where we'll go down, the upper lung. And exhale through your nose. Abdomen contracts, ribs contract, and the air goes out of the upper lung. Don't lean forward as you exhale. Inhale, shoulder blades down. And exhale, keeping the shoulder blades down. Inhale, abdomen, ribs, upper lung, and exhale, abdomen, ribs, upper lung. Okay, so this is the way you want to breathe, using the full lung. Okay, and you want to make the breath maybe longer and deeper. You know, it's more difficult to breathe out than to breathe in. I don't know how many people have heard that. Like when you say to people, take a deep breath, they breathe up here, and then they breathe out quickly. And then they breathe in the same stale air. And if anyone's done yoga breathing exercises, we always accentuate the exhalation. Right? You know, you inhale 4, exhale 8. Anyone's done those exercises? Okay. But a lot of people have trouble with exhaling twice as long. So this is also where the chanting comes in. Like we started the workshop, Om. Okay, Om helps you to really breathe out fully. If you don't breathe out fully, you can't breathe in properly. You know, a lot of people, they breathe out halfway, and they breathe in the stale air. And when you breathe in, the air is 20% oxygen. Out, it's only 16%. 4% is waste products, carbon dioxide. If you breathe that in again, you do that a few times, there's no oxygen left. And that's why when people who have asthmatic attacks, you know, they're always going, trying to pull the air in, but they can't because their lungs are full of stale air. So we want to empty the lungs, and then the inhalation is quite easy. Okay. So let's just do a few Oms like this. Right? But sitting up straight this time. Okay, remember, shoulders are relaxed. Shoulder blades are a little together, and down towards the waist. Chin is parallel to the floor. Okay, now take a deep breath, and you're going to try and make the sound last as long as possible. Okay, ready? Take a deep breath. Or we can do it just with the I think that's easier. Okay, ready? Inhale, deep breath. Again. Okay, breathe normally. Okay. So now we're going to do, I think we have time to do just one breathing exercise, and then I think I'm supposed to ask for questions. Right? So take your right hand and fold down the two fingers next to your thumb. The thumb is going to close the, nope, it's the other way. Put down the two fingers next to the thumb. You can even okay, the thumb is going to close the right nostril and the two end fingers to the left. Use your right hand. Right hand. Okay. Close your right nostril with the thumb. And inhale. 3, 4, now change, exhale the other side. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, right side. 3, 4, and change, exhale, left. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 3, 4, and change, exhale. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. Remember to keep your back straight. And change, exhale. Inhale, left. And change, exhale, right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you can drop your hand. So why are you breathing alternately? Yeah, you know, when you breathe in through your right nostril, it doesn't go into your right lung. No, you know, it all gets mixed together. But as you breathe in, you stimulate the olfactory nerve. It's just at the back of the nasal passage. You know, it's the nerve that enables you to smell things. It's the shortest major nerve in your body, and it stimulates the hemisphere of the brain. Now, one side of your breathing is always stronger than the other. We've already done this exercise, so it won't work. But tomorrow, just take your hand and breathe out through, and notice what happens through one nostril. And then put the hand under the other nostril, breathe out. You'll see one side is always stronger. And it'll change every hour and a half to 2 hours. And if you don't believe me, you can just test it and see. Right? So people's natural rhythm is usually hour and a half to 2 hours. It's constantly changing. Except when you're really peaceful. If you're sitting and meditating, the breath is going to be even in both nostrils. So if you do this exercise, just breathing one way and then the other, you're bringing that balance. You're bringing your mind to a very peaceful state. If you did this every morning, maybe just 5 or better 10 rounds, before you go to work, you would at least start off in a peaceful state. Right? And then you could do it in the evening, or even you could do it if you feel really stressed, you could just go in another room and you could just do a few rounds. And you'll find that you're very peaceful. Left,
Yeah.
out right.
I see, yeah.
In right, out
Out
left.
the left.
In, out. Stay there, in, out. In, out. Okay?
Thank you.
And you do a few rounds. So do that maybe 10 times. And if you did that every morning, you'd find that you could control your breath much better and you would feel much more peaceful. Right? You say, this is what I'm going to do. For example, you might say, I'm going to get up every morning at 7 o'clock or 6:30, whenever it is you get up, and I'm going to do 10 rounds of alternate nostril breathing, and then I'm going to do 20 minutes of meditation, or whatever it is you want to do. You write it down. Then you put a question there. Did I do it today? How many rounds of alternate nostril breathing did I do? How long did I meditate? Anything you've said you do, you put the question there. And then every day, you check yourself. It takes about a minute. You see, so it's like making an appointment, and then you check off that you've done everything you have to do. Right? So I have a form that I give to students quite often. Okay, it's in Excel, which most people have, and you can change the questions. But you say, I'm going to do this. You decide you're going to do it, and then you check yourself. Now, you have to check yourself every day, otherwise it doesn't work. Because your mind is very tricky. Your mind can convince you of anything. Right? I used to run a yoga center where we had people living there. But the rule was you had to come for meditation every morning. Okay, once a week you could miss. But then people didn't come, and I'd say, you didn't come last week. They say, yes, I did. No, you didn't come. So then we made a rule. Everyone had to keep a diary like this, and then they all came. They weren't lying to me. Every morning they'd wake up and they'd say, oh good, I get one day a week off. Every morning was the one day. You see? But they forgot that they had taken it off already. But once you check yourself, the best is before the sunrise. But yeah, it's best before the sun rises. But at this time of year, I think the sun comes up at about 4 in the morning. So I think it's better to do it after the sunrise than not do it. But in the wintertime, you can do it before the sunrise.
Why is it better before the sunrise?
It's just the energy of the day. You know, as the sun rises, you want to sort of be up and doing different things. But the mind is in a more peaceful state before the sun comes up.
Is it better
So.
to do it
No, because we have different subtle energies. We call prana. And a different prana is in every hand, every finger, every part of the body. No, it's your right hand.
But if I'm left-handed?
Doesn't matter.
Okay,
Your
still.
heart's not on the other side because
Okay.
you're left-handed, is it?
so always have the right hand? Thank you.
Right. Yeah, you had... So that you exhale twice as long as you inhale. Right? Because we said it's more difficult to exhale fully. You want to get all this stale air out of the lungs, all the pollution you've been breathing all day. You know, if you live in a city, if you go into shops, if you take you're on public transport, someone's got a cold. You're breathing all that in. You know, I just came on the tube and people were breathing right into my face. You know, you can't help it. So you want to clean your lungs out as much as possible. So we exhale twice as much as we inhale. You can count backwards if you like. Yeah. So I count forward. Inhale 4, exhale 8.
Okay. That was
Right.
the question, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just twice as much as you inhale. If you find that it's really difficult, like some people really have trouble with their breath, do it 3-6. But do the exhalation twice as long as the inhalation. And that's why I said if you get really good at it, you can also increase it 5-10.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but you exhale twice as much as you inhale.
As long as twice as
But you don't struggle,
you don't struggle.
right? You don't force yourself. Okay. It's also a good idea every once in a while to just remind yourself. And maybe just something like being aware of your shoulder blades. You see, that's like you said, to integrate it into something you're doing already. Or you said, sorry. So you remind yourself. It's like you give yourself a cue. Every once in a while you check your shoulder blades, make sure you're standing straight, and am I breathing properly? Right? And you keep reminding yourself, and then you start changing your habit pattern. Calm your mind. You want to be able to deal with the stress of modern life. I mean, we're all under stress. We're all breathing polluted air. How is our body going to deal with that? You see, so if you do some breathing exercises, you find you're calmer, you're less stressed, and maybe you have less breathing problems. You're not as affected by the pollution. Maybe you don't catch cold as often as you used to. So just check yourself and be more regular. And then maybe if you've been doing a lot, that when you go and you skip a few days, maybe do a little less and then build up again.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
And as I said, I do have this form that I can send to you if you want to give me your email address.
Do you also have a newsletter?
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you.